technologically illiterate.
Illiterate.
I call it that.
Okay.
And if I can make a YouTube channel, anybody can.
Okay.
So, hi, you know
Hi.
what? I am here finally with my friend here. This is Sangi, and I have been waiting to interview for how long now?
More than a year.
More than a year.
Yes.
And as you know, I'm always trying to bring in new and different, interesting things to the channel. And I guess it's been 2 years where I first met you, and you introduced me to something I'd never heard of before, but apparently it was pretty popular, junk journals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's exactly what it sounds, junk, Junk.
That's right.
So for people who don't know, what is a junk journal?
So a junk journal is more of it's a journal that is hand bound rather than can we start over? Sorry.
Just keep going.
Okay. So a standard journal has a lined paper, and all the papers are uniform. In a junk journal, the papers are different because the person who makes them, the junk artist, chooses the paper and binds them together to make a book. So it's called junk because the papers are kind of random. And I believe the tradition was started at home, probably by probably decades ago, when you probably didn't go out to buy a journal, but you used whatever bits and pieces you had in the house, a bit of a file folder, some coupons, a newspaper. You just kind of bind it together so you have places to write your grocery list, your shopping list. So it's kind of like a hodgepodge patchwork journal. And ever since I've discovered it, I'm enamored with the process of it.
Okay.
So.
You know, because I saw you were actually sitting and doing some binding at
Yes,
the table.
at the time.
And so you have one with you.
Yes, I do.
So people can kind of see what that is.
Yes. So this one, if you can see in the light, is I took an old antique encyclopedia, and if you can see, it's embossed and has a beautiful, intricate design.
Oh, okay.
On it.
It
Just like
actually
that.
looks like one of those old, like, leather-bound books.
Yes, and it might actually be leather. And so what I did is I gutted it, which means I took the existing text out so that you only have the cover like this. And then I chose the handful of papers that would go in to make the new book. So it's a new form. It's this book kind of come back in a new form. And so whenever you have one clump of papers folded over, it's called a signature. And you'd be able to see it if you took like a regular book and just looked this way and counted the number of circles or curves. Each one is called a signature. So in a regular book that's kind of tightly bound, you would have many, many signatures. You might have 25 signatures, each with 10 pages each. But a junk journal takes up a lot of volume, so you can't have as many, and a little bit takes up a lot more volume. So in this case, you can see on the spine, there are 3 bindings. 1, 2, 3. And if you turn the book over, you would see the humps. 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 signatures to the junk journal right here. So what I have done to the spine was kind of falling apart. It's an old book. So I reinforced it by putting fabric. I put some taping material also. There's fabric on the inside lining of the spine and the outside. Then I cut these holes with special tools. They're punch holes, but the tool lets it reach far along the spine rather than a regular hole punch that would just do a little bit. And then I bound it with this multicolor string here. And then I put eyelets on each hole like that. And this is sort of a fabric that has some it's brown but has some vegetables on it, so it gives a kind of a farm look to it. So
now, how long does it take to do that?
To do this, to bind the signatures in, it could take 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
It could take an hour to just find the pages I need, and then maybe just to bind it together, it could take an hour, hour and a half.
Now this is one of the larger ones that you
is a large one.
Yeah. And so what type things do you have inside there?
Okay, so when you open the journal, um, I have varying sizes and types of paper. So I'll have anywhere from notebook paper to pages from text. Here's a braille page.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh,
It's lovely.
yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And so what I personally try to do is try to have a mixture of pages for writing and then pages for visual interest. So I will alternate writing, non-writing, writing, non-writing. So it's kind of like a coffee table conversation.
Yeah.
So you can see the first page is it's a page out of a book. There's not much space to do much writing, but you might be able to write a quote on it or something you learned. And this is just for visual interest. And then I have a journaling page that you can actually write longer thoughts, or if you're going to a lecture. I have a couple of journaling pages. Then there's the braille page, and then I have very interesting type of things where I fold the braille page over to make a pocket, and then I stuff the pocket full of visually interesting things. Here's a page from a French poetry book from the 1700s. Planner pages, tarot, music pages are usually very popular. Certain things are really popular in a junk journal. Music pages is one of them. Another one is ledger page. Doilies. People often add doilies, scrapbook paper. Here, and then what you have here is the center of the signature, and this is an old calendar that shows a view of the pyramids, and you can see I've bound it and tied it in the middle. A lot of people put charms on it so it'll dangle, and a lot of little trinkets. And then mainly one of the features of a junk journal is just pockets, triangular tuck spaces. So what I did is I glued a piece of cardstock here, scrapbook paper, and in it I tucked postcards and name and address. And here I've even have a pocket with a mask in it.
Oh, okay.
And now that people don't use the mask as much anymore, I've even used the mask as a pocket. I'll glue it down and you can put things in it.
That works out, yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't get wasted. So the idea of the junk journal is you don't waste anything.
So
Even when there's scraps left over, I will even use those to make a collage.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's also, too, so that you're not throwing away paper or anything.
Exactly.
Well, and what was real fun for me, I was going through all the stuff I sent. Because I had all these things. They were old decoder papers. I found my dad's drawers and things, and I was like, what am I going to... I don't want to throw things away. I don't like to do that. And the first thought is, I would bet you can add these in a junk journal. It doesn't matter, right?
This is a really inspiring form in that sense, is because once I tell my close friends about this, they start thinking in this way as they become sensitized, especially my closer friends, that what do I have that could be useful for a junk journal,
right,
so that they don't feel like they're throwing things away. And there's especially sentimental things like your parents' writing or someone that you photographs. You don't want to keep them, you don't want to throw them out, you don't want to give them to Goodwill, so what do you do with them?
Right.
And so I receive so much stuff that is junk for other people or that they can't use, and I'm able to incorporate their loving experiences into these books and pass their experiences along, and so it's magical and community building.
Now, you said, when did you learn about this?
I learned about this about 2.5 years ago, so about February of 2021.
Okay, because like I said, I'd never heard of it. Now I know you talk about it like housewives and things, but actually doing what you do. You said there's a whole community that does this?
There's a whole community. So now people don't really, if you're at home and making one for yourself, you can use actual junk, like bills that come in the mail, junk mail, you can alter it. But if you want to gift it or sell it, people actually use really nice materials now, like scrapbook paper and this is a table setting card that I turned into a paper clip, for rehearsal dinner. Matching stationery. So now people kind of acquire beautiful papers.
Right.
But it's still called a junk journal, even though it may not have any actual junk in it.
Okay. And so what I was saying is if somebody wanted to get one from you, do you have a website? Do you have... any way they can get a hold of you for something like that?
Well, I have an embryonic YouTube channel that is about to come out.
Okay.
So I will pass that information on to you, and you
Okay.
can add it to the description. when it
Okay,
comes out. Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, I am just so excited that I got to sit down and have you tell everybody about this.
Well, thank you, and I love talking about it. So
Yes, and
Mhm.
that makes it more interesting too, because when
Mhm.
you have somebody who is really passionate
yes,
about what they do, and so I hope to see you again soon.
yes, and
Are
thank
you-
you, and thank you for letting me put the
Yeah.
word out and share my passion with everyone.
Oh well,
So, yeah.
I'm just thrilled that I was able to do it,
Yeah.
and I will see you next time wherever.
Bye.